Hello, my name is Claudell Clark, President and CEO of the Better Business Bureau of Greater Hampton Roads, and we're here with you again today on another edition of the Coach's Corner. Today we have with us Nick Snipes, owner of Snipes Landscaping here in Hampton Roads. Nick, good afternoon, and good to have you with us.
Thanks for having me.
It's just good to have you here. The Coach's Corner, we've put this together to talk about how sports and business parallel. A lot of the challenges one has as a coach, you have as a business owner, you with a baseball background and a lot of good baseball stories. I'm certainly sure you slide those over into your coaching of your team. But great to have you here, accredited business, upstanding organization in the local area, making a lot of community impact, and we just appreciate you for that. Tell us a little bit about Snipes Landscaping and how long you've been in business and some of the things you've done here in the Hampton Roads area before we get started.
All right. It literally started with the boy and the mower, and it's grown. We are a full-service company, so we do everything from just your routine maintenance, for cut edge blow weekly, then to your mulching, landscape install. We have a landscape designer on staff, so we can do, of course, from the maintenance all the way up to outdoor living spaces, lighting, low voltage lighting, up lighting, down lighting. One of the things we pride ourselves in is we don't do the same project twice. Like, we would do like cookie cutter neighborhoods essentially, and one of my pride ones is we've done 17 patios in that neighborhood, and not one's the same. Wow. Each one of them is different and tailored to each customer. And it's just, we like to have fun and get creative with each project we do.
Certainly. So we were talking previously, and you talked about the scope at which your company has grown to now, but you talked about before, I just started off with a mower, right? And you're cutting X amount of parcels of grass per week as a high school student. How have you grown to this point, and what are some of the things that allowed you to scale up?
Truthfully, it's been word of mouth for us.
Right.
I literally started cutting when I was 13, like the neighbors, which I still do to this day, which is almost 20 plus years. It's getting to the point where I don't want to count anymore. But and you asked as far as how long we've been in business, it's been, I think, coming up on 18 years on paper. Very proud to say that. So it's been a good ride.
Yeah. Well, in sports, you had to build a roster, or as in business, they say you got to build your bench.
Yep.
How have you recruited, trained, empowered, and brought other persons into your organization to help you grow to this point?
So it's been a lot of networking. Okay. I've been very fortunate with my team as far as I have good staff to where they've been long-term employees. I don't have a lot of turnover. Okay. You have the few, but the core, and been very fortunate to come across good people, sports guys I've done, even grew up playing sports with, just networking, even not just with inside the business, even all the businesses that support my business. Somehow it's related from sports or history, from childhood and all that. So having a good reputation where we all want to help each other be better than we were yesterday. So.
Well, you mentioned a great point within that last statement. It's great to get them in. It's great to bring them on board, but you want to retain. And you talked about your great retention. How have you just retained? We talk about retaining accredited businesses and growing that retention base. How have you been so successful at retaining those individuals?
So as far as the employees go, we offer medical insurance as well. We pay half of their medical, vision, dental, and as far as just having I had several great coaches growing up, but having a bunch of just that team effort, that team, like every day we're all working together to get through the obstacles or the challenges that present us each day. I mean, that's what's neat about what we do is we're in a different office space every day, and we're all working together to overcome and achieve a goal.
Right. Well, the element of a team is that teamwork. Yeah. How have you encouraged that? How have you fostered that? How have you continued to push that message of teamwork in your coaching style and your leadership?
Oh, that's a tough one to answer there. It's one of those things you don't think. You just kind of, when somebody's mentioned something, it could be small or big, and I'm just you're not on your own.
Right.
Let's talk about this. Let's figure it
That's
out.
awesome.
Let's come up with a solution, and then we'll have multiple. All right, we could do A, B, or C, and we'll figure out what's the best for not only us but for our customers. Make sure they get the best outcome.
Gotcha. So you built this team, and in any team you have seasons, right? And especially in landscaping. So this is really parallel in here, but you have these seasons, and in some seasons, some years, you have these ups and downs. How have you shown resilience with your team, perseverance with your team, and how have you all bounced back and learned from challenges?
I'm just very open with them. As far as challenges, I've had a way of just being able to just kind of tell them this is where we are. Like whether we're up or down, or we've had a lot of things going on. When we're up, I try to reward them, make up, and then when we're down, when I tell them like, hey, I'm not able to do certain things, or they understand, they know, they trust me, and they know that I'm not just saying anything. I'm consistent with how I lead and how I try to be consistent with not only our customer but with our team. Because without my team, I wouldn't have customers.
Of course.
So don't get me wrong, we focus on our customers, but I focus on the team first to service them.
Got to take care of those people.
Yeah.
Right. So with that team, we talked about the recruitment, we talked about the retaining of those individuals, but how do you go about training them? And how do you go about, we're talking sports, right? It's constant training, constant practice, perfect practice. How do you continue to train them and get them better in the ways that, things that you want them to do? And, how do you keep them innovative, and how do you keep them creative to do the new services that you all provide? It's more than just landscaping. So how do you continue to train people to provide this wide scope of services you all have?
Again, I've just been so fortunate with the good crews, but we like to have, I like challenge. We don't, again, not doing the same project all the time.
Okay.
It all starts at the top.
Okay.
It starts at the top
Starts
down.
with you.
Yeah, and it's just sometimes you have a different challenge on a project, and it's like, okay, and I try to be contagious, I guess, and
that's a good word.
they look at it the same way. And
lead by example.
Yeah.
Well, good. We talked about that too. We talked about the perseverance of it. The team is moving forward. You have your up years and down years. How do you define success? A person may look at a business, they might put a dollar figure on it, or a number of customers, or a service area that you've expanded to. How does Snipes Landscaping know that it's had a good quarter, a good year, and it's moving in the right direction?
For us, when I was younger, it was kind of like the money, but now it's kind of how many callbacks do we have this week? Or our challenge or our goal is to minimize callbacks, and what I've done with that is empowering the team, knowing that guys, like, this is a reflection on you, and what you do, you will get rewarded with less. How I do it, I reward them with less callbacks and things like that. Quarterly, definitely at the end of the year, things like that. You were referring back earlier as far as retaining employees. Like, we shut down for 2 weeks during the New Year's, Christmas, and they're paid. And we just try to take care of our employees.
It's tremendous luxury to be able to do that. A lot of service industries, companies, maybe during that 2-week period or an off-week period, they're just on furlough or laid off or not paid at all. Great way to retain people. Moving forward, we talked about defining success. We talked about recruiting persons. How do you plan to grow? What's your growth vision? Is it more contracts, getting into the commercial space, which we talked about? What is your growth vision moving forward for Snipes?
Yeah, it's as far as the growing, I've gotten to where I am with word of mouth. Like, even the newer trucks, we don't even logo anymore. It's all word of mouth. As far as, yes, do I have like an idea of the direction we want to go with commercial? Yes, increase the commercial side of it. But even that, it's going to be word of mouth, and I'm not trying to avoid like the tire kickers and all, and just giving the people what they were asking for, and that's how I've gotten to where I am. And it's kind of, when you ask me to define my business, it's not about a monetary value, it's not about the money, it's just the projects we're doing and the unique and one-offs. And if I really wanted to scale and do like it's huge, and it would be, I would get in with certain builders where it's cookie cutters, turning over the same thing to where I can maximize profits and all that. But to me, it's about just tailoring each project to the customer and their needs. I don't look at it as sales. We look at each customer's project as one. So.
Well, in your thought and your answer, I can feel and hear the passion behind it and the fulfillment behind it and the purpose behind it. You've mentioned a number of times, this is not just for the money. Yeah. And you wouldn't be able to push this long, this hard, and build an organization this successful if it was just about money. Yeah. That can be a byproduct, some of these rewards or these good years. But tell us a little bit more about what drives you and what fulfills you and where this passion comes from to have a company with this many complex pieces going on and this many demands on one person as an owner, a president. How do you find the passion to push through on a daily basis and continue to have that fulfillment and grow the company? Where does that come from? In sports, we have passion for being a better hitter or being a better fielder or a pitcher, or we're baseball guys. Where does the passion for your business come from?
I was up last night thinking about a lot of different things and what might come up. And one of the things I was thinking about is like when we're looking at like the boys that I coach now. So we have guys who are big and already hit puberty and crushing the ball and doing this and that. And then we've got the guys that, my son, one of them, hasn't even, starting to do the squeaky voice here and there, and it's fun. But watching them and their dedication in each practice, and I'm trying to do the same with my boys, empowering them. Okay. And it's not, you're here because you want to be here. It's not because mom and dad are pushing you or, like you have to play. No, that's rec ball. We're a travel team. And what am I trying to say with that? It's, as far as my passion, where it comes from, watching them put in the work, it makes me want to be better. And empowering my team does the same thing at work. Empowering them like, this is your job, this is your project just as much as it is mine. It makes you money, it makes us money. In the end, you'll get rewarded. And it's fun watching challenges get overcome and being able to see the end results. And that's how it's been even on the baseball field, watching them. Last year we came out with like a not so great record at the beginning, but the second half of the season, we were like 7-1 at the beginning of the season, and then we ended it, 12-16.
Okay.
So we really came back. Did great, but I always say we're like the Bad News Bears. We're the smallest team out there, and it's just these kids have such a big heart. Build-wise, they're not in a position like if you're in college, they're not where you would think they would be as far as height or strength, but the knowledge and the ability and their willingness to overcome every time, it's humbling, fun to watch. So.
Awesome. We also look at competition.
Yeah.
You see competition in business. You've seen competition every year since you've been in business. Obviously, it sounds like you take a lot of pride in what you all do and your organization and your training and your team, and not so much even worry about that sort of thing, but it's still there. Yeah. So who is your competitors, if you could share that, and how do you view your competition and how you combat the competition?
When it comes to competition, it's great. It's healthy.
Right.
We all need competition. Every business, it keeps us all in check. I really couldn't tell you who our closest. We know of the company. Right. Don't get me wrong. Right. Us business owners, we talk. Okay. As far as the type of industry we're in, as far as this contract, this or that, and but again, it didn't happen overnight. That's taken 10+ years just to get to that level of being able to discuss with other businesses. When it comes to no, it's healthy. We need competition. That's what pushes us to be better. Knowing, the other landscape company down the street, everywhere you look, there's more landscape trucks going down the road, but there's still so much work out there. Okay. And there's so much work You know, I don't take pride in fixing other work, but we do fix a lot of other work,
Right.
and it's just, and as far as the training and the retention of employees, you can see, it's like, all right, the owner, when he was out there every day, it was good, but I feel like when I leave a project, our team has been trained where they can handle it even without me there.
Right. So certainly shows you have a championship team.
Yeah.
And anytime sports people, business people, we understand that championship is in the details, details of everything that you do. What are some of the things that you stress to your team, to your leadership team, and then remind yourself of what details, what habits, what parts of that daily process that come to mind do you stress to them and yourself to keep you all where you are?
To me, it's always, I mean, it depends on which part of the business we're talking about, but like on the maintenance side, it's do that corner of the yard that nobody goes to. Go above, or do the leaves under the deck. Like you just do, if you do one thing each time, by the end of the season, it's that much better. Same with you know, like on the pavers. And like when you make a cut, and yeah, it's got a little gap here and tight here. No, let's make a nice cut and make it nice and even and tight, the way it should be. Just every day we just try to do one thing better than we did the day before the last project. Right.
And that certainly reflected. It certainly reflected on what you guys have done. Tell me, so back to why we're here, right? Great business, Better Business Bureau coming together, highlighting Snipes Landscaping. What has the BBB accreditation meant to you? How has that benefited you? And just how do you see the BBB and its value in your accreditation?
The Better Business Bureau has helped me in just regards to, you know, when people look us up on a Better Business Bureau, it just gives them that peace of mind, knowing like, okay, we've been vetted at least one step further than the other landscaper down the street. I have been able to call and use some of the extra services here and there. Elizabeth has always been above and beyond for me. You know, it's one of those things like, I feel bad because I didn't even have y'all's phone number in my phone, and the other day I looked at it, she called me to remind me about this, and just went above and beyond for one, but then two, it was just, I knew the number. You know, it's one of those ones I recognized it, and then as soon as she answered or said, hey, how you doing? I knew exactly who I was talking to just because of our relationship. So you guys have the same principle. I feel we're aligned business-wise.
Good. And we just appreciate your decades of accreditation now and that partnership. If you had advice for a person trying to get in the landscaping business, but just trying to start a business, we're talking to young people now.
Yeah.
If you have persons coming out of college or who are thinking about starting a business, what are some of maybe three? What are three top thoughts that come to your head about what they need to do to position themselves and get that business off the ground? We're trying to be at the BBB this resource for small businesses and new businesses and existing business. So this conversation and others help persons who are looking to talk about, you know, how can I start a business? How can I be a landscaping business 10 plus years, right? How can I be an accredited business for over a decade? What are some of the things that you would tell those persons if they're looking to start off and have a successful business?
Number one, do what you say you're going to do. You know, that's, and answer the phone.
Customer service.
Yeah. So we literally have our own staff just for that. So if I'm in a meeting like here, I forward my phone to the office. Okay. So we're always reachable. Don't be afraid of challenges. So I slowly went into it. Again, just different business methods. I wasn't trying to go the volume route. I wanted a solid name. When people think of Snipes, they think we know it's going to be done right. So meaning, like I didn't just jump into hardscape and just wing it. No, I did continuing education classes before I even did my first class, like or patio. As far as stay with the times as far as industry standards. During the off season, we're constantly doing trade shows, doing classes, continuing education points and credits to maintain higher standards.
Gotcha. Well, at the end of a year, end of a body of work, end of a period, a organization or a team wants to measure its success, right? In sports, you want some sort of trophy or championship. In business, you get awards. You don't always necessarily get a championship or a trophy. What are some of the major accomplishments that you guys have had over the years, or one recently? What milestones have you achieved to show that business success?
Yeah, so I mean, we've been fortunate, have not had a down year.
Okay.
Constantly growing, constantly improving margins, on the business side. Again, one of our biggest measurables in our office is returns, callbacks, things like that, like patios. I mean, I've been doing hardscapes over 13, 14 years now, and I think we've had 2 callbacks. Wow. And it was some things where there was trees, so it's not really our fault, but we took care of it.
Okay.
Pulled it up, put it back together, and you never knew anything happened. And that's so measurables to me is, in the end, customer service and lack of callback.
Lack of callbacks. That great customer service. It's like some of these teams win the pennant every year, right? Or have just this consistent ability to go to the playoffs. Yeah. You guys just been extremely consistent, and that's certainly. Or newer businesses, they have to establish themselves and get to that level, so we want to help them. But really what the BBB is built on is these ethical and consistent and long-standing businesses that provide great customer service. So, that's just hats off to you guys, a testament to your leadership and hard work. And we appreciate you, man. We appreciate your accreditation. We appreciate your partnership. And most of all, we appreciate your time today.
Appreciate the support.
So, Nick, best of luck to you. Best of luck to your team. Keep getting better. Keep encouraging other persons. Keep spreading the word of the BBB in this partnership. And we thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.